Let's get right to it because opening statements have begun in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin. The trial is being live streamed and is expected to take around 4 weeks, giving folks a peek into the most important case of the Black Lives Matter era. He is, of course, on trial for the murder of George Floyd. People in Minneapolis say the mood is tense with so much riding on the verdict. And check out this moment in the trial after witness video was played. This is the prosecution's lawyer, Jerry Blackwell.
929, the three most important numbers in the case, 9 minutes and 29 seconds, is how long that went on. For half of that time, Mr. Floyd was unconscious, breathless, pulseless.
On the other side, the defense is arguing that Derek Chauvin did not cause George Floyd's death. Take a look.
And this will ultimately be another significant battle in this trial. What was Mr. Floyd's actual cause of death? The evidence will show that Mr. Floyd died of a cardiac arrhythmia that occurred as a result of hypertension, his coronary disease, the ingestion of methamphetamine and fentanyl, and the adrenaline flowing through his body, all of which acted to further compromise an already compromised heart.
Meantime, outside the courthouse earlier today, members of George Floyd's family, along with civil rights leaders, took a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, the amount of time Derek Chauvin kneeled on George Floyd's neck. So, DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. What do you think the outcome of this trial will be? I do want to preface it by just saying that you just heard from the defense saying that there are quote unquote underlying causes that they believe contributed to George Floyd's death. Now, George Floyd's family had 2 independent medical examiners, completely independent from the state, because it was the county and the state that originally examined him. Those 2 independent medical examiners said that he died from asphyxiation, which is the strangling of the neck. And it was the pressure on the back of the right side of the neck and the pressure on the back of his back is what ultimately killed George Floyd. So I'm sure we're going to hear that during the trial as well, Al.
Yeah, if he has competent defense, we will. Their whole idea of going to a jury trial is because you only need one person, Jeff. You know, there's a lot of love for BLM and there's a lot of hate for BLM. And when you introduce things like drugs, they try to do that with the gentleman that was shot on his couch by the police officer. They said he was high on his couch. That's all you need to kind of cloud one juror's mind. But I always think about this. This is a random thing to go to, Jeff. But I think about, remember the movie My Cousin Vinny?
Of course.
When he said, when you're with the defense, they'll show you a playing card. They'll show it to you from every angle. But they don't want to show it to you when it's flat because their case is paper thin. And that's what's going on here. They just want to show you drugs, cardiac arrest, arrhythmia, the street, the gravel was weird. We all saw what we saw.
Yeah, and Erica, I want to get your take. For me, these lawyers are crafty. That's their job. Yeah. Like you said, and all they need to do is convince one person otherwise, that it's not second degree or whatever he's up against. But the good news, Erica, is that you could live stream this whole court case, which is great because if you were worried about something or an error in someone's defense or what they said, everyone's going to be able to see that now.
Yeah, this entire case is unprecedented. Just from how everything is being handled, everyone's in masks. Will that affect the jury? Only one member of the defense and one member of George Floyd's family is allowed in the courtroom. Obviously, we're all streaming this live in real time, but so is the press. So there's so many things that there's no precedence for. But there also was never a precedence for seeing a man being killed in real time all over the internet and all over the media, and people from every different country taking to the street saying his name and saying that Black Lives Matter. This case is so important in terms of history. We are used to seeing cases where black men or innocent black men or black women are either not receiving any justice after their deaths, which were unwarranted. And now everyone is watching, and people who took to the streets who weren't black, who said, this is crazy, it's criminal, Black Lives Matter. When you were coming up with ways to be an ally, just remember how much you wanted to be a part of the right side of history, because these next 4 weeks are crucial. We need pressure, we need people to speak out, and we need to make sure that everyone understands that all eyes are on this case. It will hinge on everything from this point forward, and it is so important that we're vigilant.
Well said, Erica. Let me bring in the viewers because we do have a lot of comments right now. Betty on Twitter says the whole point of the trial is to listen to both sides and decide what really happened. At this point, we've only seen one side. Nicoya said he's going to walk just like they all do. Shireen says that prosecutor is everything. And Saeed says Derek Chauvin's defense strategy is essentially to put George Floyd on trial. And that is a very popular defense strategy, to malign the victim's character. And that is tragic. But I do want
to... the what was she wearing of racism.
Well said.
Race,
and before,
it's just whatever. You know.
Before we move on, I think it's really important to know, if you listen to the prosecution this morning, they did say that they have several police officers as well as the police chief willing to take the stand and actually testify against their colleague, Derek Chauvin. So I think that is going to speak volumes. We will be following the case.